Hi, welcome back to the channel. Today we're setting off from the charming village of Linby, right here in Nottinghamshire, for a scenic adventure along the Newstead Abbey circular walk. This route takes us through peaceful countryside, ancient woodland and the past historic grounds of Newstead Abbey, once home to the poet Lord Byron. It's a walk full of character with plenty of quiet moments and beautiful views, perfect for a relaxing day outdoors. So grab your boots, pack a snack and let's get walking. Hello and good morning. This is my first real walk since doing the coast to coast. I've not got out for a while, and as such I thought I would take in a walk that's pretty local to myself. It's fairly flat. It's just under 6 miles and it's called the Newstead Circular. I'm starting here in Linby village and I'm sat at the moment by the top cross. This top cross dates back to the 14th century and apparently it's unique in being the only 7-sided cross base in Britain. The crosses were erected to mark the edge of Sherwood Forest, so everywhere sort of north of here up into Yorkshire was part of Sherwood Forest. So I'm going to start here, and it's a circular walk. We head out of Linby village up an old railway track to head up to Newstead Abbey. And this is the start of the old railway track, now part of the National Cycle Network. Can't say I've seen many people actually cycling this on the times that I've walked it. Walkers, runners tend to be the ones that you get down here. So this section is more commonly known as the Linby Trail. It was actually part of the Great Northern Railway and was opened in 1882 for coal and passengers through the Lean Valley. Closed to passengers in 1916, but is now a green corridor. Linby itself, well, started today, had 2 stations. There's no rail service now in the village, but the old way office, which was part of one of the stations, is now the Linby Heritage Centre, which I might have a look at when I get back to the start. Linby, like a lot of Nottinghamshire villages, mining village, all long since gone. So it's been several months now since I did the coast to coast, but work, family life have got in the way, and it did take me a few weeks to recover from the coast to coast. Not so much blisters, but my feet were aching for a good week or so before I'd even contemplate going on another hike. But yeah, I'll come out today and start getting back in shape for another multi-day hike. What I would say as well is after the coast to coast, yeah, really missed the walking, the being out in the open country. Yeah, it was a bit of a downer that first week after the coast to coast. Not getting up each morning and going out doing 10 to 15 miles each day. But yeah, as I say, this is my first walk since then. It's a local walk for me. It's literally 3 or 4 miles down the road, but hopefully over the next few weeks get back out into the Peak District, something less flat, and start getting back into it. Said at the start of this old railway track, but don't usually see cyclists, and today I must have seen 4 or 5. Must be getting more popular, or maybe it's just luck. I think usually it's midweek when I've walked along here, so yeah, not usually as busy. And here at the other end of the trail, sign, Linby Trail, Nottinghamshire County Council, National Cycle Network number 6. And just around here we turn right, heading towards Newstead Abbey. This is a very old railway bridge. Yeah, I think we turn right back there if I remember rightly, but yeah, another old railway bridge, and if we were to have turned left just before here, you would head up to Newstead village and Newstead railway station, which is another starting point for this walk. You can start from Newstead village itself if you're coming by public transport, by train. Walkers welcome, it says. Yeah, this should come back round onto the road and the approach to Newstead Abbey. Again, Used to be railway tracks around here. Newstead, again, mining village back. And these woods are said to be haunted by the ghosts of the monks from the old priory. Yeah, that's back towards Newstead village, under the bridge that I was just on. But I'm taking this way to Newstead Abbey, up to the priory, the old house. And this long straightish road takes us all the way down to Newstead Abbey. Quite nice countryside at either side, but yeah, unfortunately it is road this section, probably just under a mile in length the road. So we're into October next week, so well into autumn. So I'm not going to be doing that many multi-day hikes now before the end of this year. Might get one in, but my plan is to start planning. So I've already got the Heriot's Way penciled in for April next year, but I've yet to decide on which other multi-day hikes I'm going to do. I've got a few in mind. Another cyclist going past. Yeah, a few in mind. Adrian's Wall walk, Yorkshire Wolds Way, and possibly the Cleveland Way and the Cumbrian Way are all walks that I've been looking at as possibilities, but it's getting the time off work to do all these walks. You got the weekend, 2 days, but then you soon start eating into your holidays. So trying to plan them around bank holidays to squeeze in a few extra days, but we'll see. I think from now until the end of the year it's going to be mainly days out like this. Well, today's a couple of hours, but into the Peak District and trying to do 10 to 15 miles each day. A lot's going to start and depend on the weather as we start to roll into winter, so I'm not into hiking in the snow, but we'll see how the weather holds up and how the legs hold up, more importantly. I'm doing okay at the moment, and I survived the coast to coast. Survived the coast to coast a lot better than the Dales Way. The Dales Way, left foot, terrible blisters. Took a good couple of weeks for those to heal, and I was a bit nervous about starting the coast to coast so close to having completed it, but no blisters on the coast to coast under my feet. Really pleased with that. Not quite sure how I managed it, but yeah, no blisters, which made the recovery a bit quicker. See how we get on with the training walks, the day walks between now and the end of the year, but yeah, hopefully no injuries, no blisters, and plenty of walking. So this is the old West Lodge. There's a number of properties on the Newstead Abbey estate that are now private residential, so not going to zoom in too much on the houses, but yeah, I'm guessing they cost quite a bit for a property on here. One thing I keep having to look out for is falling conkers, because there's been a few come down while I've been walking along this approach. It looks like there's a farm, newish building across there, and horses in the field. I have passed one horse rider this morning, so I could have come from here. So I'm about 2 miles in now, and on the final approach to Newstead Abbey. When I get there, I'm going to see if there's a bench or something to have a sit down and have a drink. Might have something to eat. Brought a few snacks with me for today. I think we should be able to see the Abbey just round this corner. It's just through the trees. What we'll do before we get to the Abbey, there's a lake here. Just have a look around here. There might be a bench. Stop and have a drink. And there, just round to the right, the priory, the ruins, and the abbey. Nice green van. Might have one of those after I've had my my drinks, my refreshment, my snacks that I brought with me. So I was actually here last weekend, last Saturday, and I was just through there to the other side because they had an outdoor cinema, and it was my birthday last weekend. Not a big one though, but my wife and daughter brought me to the outdoor cinema, and last Saturday night we watched Star Wars Episode 4, A New Hope, on the big screen. And unfortunately, as soon as the film started, it started to rain, and we sat for the full length of the film, all the way through up to the credits, in torrential rain. But we weren't the only ones that were sat here doing that. We weren't the only mad fools. Right, I'm going to have a walk back round just so I can get a picture of the water coming down there. So we can see the water coming down from the lake here. Around here, a lot, pre-industrialisation, the power was from the rivers, water mills, etc. And I'm guessing this is probably the same, that there used to be a mill or something here, and they were using the power of the water it carries on down into the rivers here. What we can do, look down. Not sure how well this is going to come out on camera. But we are behind the waterfall. So I managed to find a bench here and sat just outside the Abbey. Just had ice cream and some snacks that I brought with me, and just looking out where I was sat last weekend, getting very wet. But yeah, so this is Newstead Abbey, just behind me here. And Newstead Abbey was a priory founded in 1170 by Henry II. It was part of a penance for the murder of Thomas Becket. After Henry VIII and the dissolution of the monasteries, The abbey became the home of the Byron family, and the poet Lord Byron inherited it in 1798, and this was the ancestral home. Fun fact is that Lord Byron, because Cambridge University wouldn't let him have a pet dog, used to keep a pet bear in the abbey, and he also used to use the crypt as a plunge bath. It's also said that the abbey is haunted and that there's a goblin friar appears at happy events and grins when a Byron dies. There's also supposedly a white lady haunting the gardens, and ghostly monks are seen in the woods, as I've said before. Lord Byron himself wrote about these in some of his works. So I'm going to set off in a few minutes, and the next stop we're passing through Abbey Woods on the way to Papplewick village. But before then, I need to change my battery. So just a shout out for the Raise the Roof appeal here. So the Abbey is not owned by National Trust or English Heritage or any of the large usual heritage associations. It's maintained and run by the council, I believe. So yeah, they're going to have limited funds for any sort of major repairs. Yeah, Raise the Roof appeal. I'm sure if you look online there'll be a link, a way to donate if you so wish to. Here we've got a map of the Abbey. Unfortunately, well, I would like to spend a bit more time here. Every now and again there's a drop of rain and it's getting rather dark, so I'm going to set off. We're heading up to the Abbey Woods. So it's up round by the car park and then swing a right into the woods towards Papplewick. And coming up to the footpath here, this is part of the Robin Hood Way. This footpath goes behind the Abbey and down past the southern lake. I don't think you get a very good view of it, and certainly at this time of year, the leaves still on the trees, it might be a little difficult to see down, but yeah, we're off the road. That's the main thing. No road walking for a while now. Just got the Abbey Woods and then fields for a while until we drop down towards Papplewick. So just behind those trees is the Abbey, and then down to the left somewhere should be the lakes, but yeah, no chance of seeing those. two do taper, so when we get further down the path we do get closer to the lakes, but I don't think I'm going to see them today. There is some sort of event or something going off at the Abbey because there's quite a few caravans and tents, but I'm not quite sure what that's related to. There were a few signs being put up, but wasn't obvious what it was for. Right, carry on. I'd come out of the wooded area on the footpath and it comes back out onto this track. So yeah, bit of easy walking. This walk's fairly easy, it's fairly flat, certainly no hills as such, so it's quite a nice steady walk if you're not used to walking. So it's just under 6 miles I think, and yeah, good way to start off. Certainly I'm using it as a getting back into it walk today, having not been out for quite some time, and get back up to the usual 10 to 15 miles in a day for a day hike, you know, steady pace over about 6 hours usually. Probably take me 2 to 3 hours today, seeing as how I stopped off at the Abbey for a few snacks and an ice cream and a bit of a sit down outside the Abbey in the gardens. So come to the end of that track, and it's another one of the lodges that looks to have been part of the Abbey grounds. And back footpath, bit softer underfoot, but as you can see it's slightly downhill here, easy going. Get the pace up a little on this, get down towards Papplewick. Yeah, this is just more of the Robin Hood's way, and Papplewick does have a link to Robin Hood, which I'll tell you about when we get down there. So I've come off the track now, we're out of the Abbey grounds and we're coming down to Top Farm, come out back onto the road. Yeah, this bit of road joins up with the main road that we take and drop into Papplewick. And the properties to the right of us all form part of the Papplewick Hall estate. Here we've got the Papplewick Parish Council notice board, and behind me is the way that I've come from the Abbey, and this looks like what certainly used to be a driveway down to Papplewick Hall, and we take the road here down to Papplewick. It's about quarter of a mile, half a mile at most. So we're coming into Papplewick now, and the connection between Papplewick and Robin Hood is that one of Robin Hood's men, Alan Liddell, supposedly got married at St James's Church here in Papplewick. So yeah, that's probably why Robin Hood Way walk comes through the village. Certainly if I had the money, this is one of the places around here that I'd definitely look to be living. It's quite nice, possibly a bit too quiet, but yeah, you just look at some of the houses and yeah, I think they're going to cost you quite a bit. We've got the Union flag flying. So here we take the footpath to Linby, and there's a sign for the church. The church is not on the main road. It's a little out of the village. It's near the hall. Yeah. So head down here. We're only about a mile now away from Linby and back to the start. But let's see if we can see the church from the footpath. Church is down here and up to the right. Not sure if we can see it from the footpath. I think the track leads up to the church, but we don't go that way, unfortunately. And that's the road up to the church. Yeah, you can't actually see it from down here. You can just sort of see a couple of gravestones and start of the church yard outside. And there's the church, we can just see through. Looks like part of it's boarded up in the tower. Yeah, that's where one of Robin Hood's men supposedly was married. And we continue on back down into Linby. It's not far now to get back into the village. And come into the village at the opposite end to where we started. So this is the River Leen. I think some of these waters have come down from those lakes, and this is fenced off, so I'm not sure if this is passing through someone's garden. Looks as though it's, you know, private, but looks really nice. The water looks a bit murky though. I think that's probably just due to the weather we've had recently. Yeah, you can see the big metal fence. It's all fenced off here. There is a gate, but it looks well taken care of here. It goes on for a while, this fence, so yeah, it's definitely private, all this. So coming back now into the village, back onto the main road through the middle of the village, Linby. Quite a busy road this. Now, along the sides of the road, both sides, you've got this, some people call it a ditch, stream, we have to call it a dock. And there's an urban myth that during World War II the Germans found an old map, and Linby docks, i.e. these streams, were shown to be on the map, and they thought it was an industrial area. Docks as in what you'd expect a dock to be: big ships, freight, containers, possibly during the war, you know, navy vessels. So the Germans targeted it and actually bombed one of the fields just outside the village. Don't know how much truth there is in that, but yeah, it's one of the local legends from Linby. But Linby itself was a centre for knitting. Quite a few cottages close to the pub, which we'll go past, that yeah, they were used for the manufacture of woolen garments, should we say. But again, it's quite a nice area this. Some really nice houses along this road, even if it is a little busy. We've got one for sale here, which looks rather nice, but yeah, don't think I'd be able to afford it. Might have a peek on Rightmove when get home, but just going to cross to the other side because there's no footpath. I'm just a bit safer over here. A lot of traffic still here, but here we've got the bottom cross and the Linby dock running beneath. It's hard to make out, but on the top it is inscribed 1663, and the date supposedly is to mark when the cross was restored by King Charles II. Coming back here now to the main part of the village. So the other thing that Linby is supposedly famous for is it's supposedly the birthplace of Pancake Day. Don't know if that one's true or not. I think we'll go this way and up by the pub and back up to the top cross where I started the walk. And here we are back at the top cross. Where I started a couple of hours ago on this Newstead Abbey circular walk. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you'll join me again for another walk in the near future. Thank you. And just for anybody that's interested in doing this walk, I'll add a link to the GPX files for this walk, and hopefully some of you might enjoy doing this walk sometime in the future.